Alright, so what's up, YouTube? Welcome back to, whatever. Today I want to talk about what I like on YouTube, and, well, not what I like on YouTube, but what I like as a person, and the topics I'm actually going to talk about on YouTube. The first video was a little good demonstration of what I want to talk about on YouTube, such as, like, stuff that is trending, whether I like it or not. I'm not gonna get political on this channel, so don't worry about that. I do like sports a lot, so you expect a lot of sports talk. Even if it's something I really don't know too much about. But let's talk about the real meat and potatoes that will be talked about on this channel. That will be Dragon Ball anything. Like, I like talking about Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, Dragon Ball GT, not so much. It's been whiles since I last saw GT. But, I like to talk about, I love Dragon Ball, that's one thing. Sonic the Hedgehog is another thing I'll probably talk about on the channel a lot. And then Pokemon, I'm gonna try to keep this channel as diverse as possible since I like so many things besides just those three things, I like sports too, so I'm gonna try to keep that involved. What I'm also gonna try to keep involved is Elder Scrolls. That's something I've been loving for the past couple of years. I love the Elder Scrolls series. It's so great to me. But yeah, so video games, in general are just great to me. I like anime as well. So that's just kind of what I really want to talk about in terms of YouTube, and then just stuff I want to get my opinions on. But yeah, I love those games. Now, anyway, this is like basically, I guess, what you call a channel introduction. But today, I want to talk about Elder Scrolls 6, only because I want to mention something. Skyrim did a wonderful job with changing the way the Elder Scrolls, is seen. Because a lot of people see the Elder Scrolls as this series that, when I was playing Oblivion, I saw the Elder Scrolls as nothing more than just a series that had maybe a couple of RPG elements and stuff like that. But other than that, it was like very, the game was fun to play, but the combat was, Everything was just with Oblivion for me. I don't know why it should not have felt that way, but it did. Maybe just because it wasn't as fun to play as Skyrim. But see, Skyrim did a great job and all, but that doesn't mean it was the greatest thing ever. There's a lot of things that can be improved. Skyrim did a great job over Oblivion. In my honest opinion, Skyrim is the more fun game to play, but I think it's the more fun game to play. But the better game is an interesting one. Because there's a difference. I go like Sonic Adventure to Sonic Adventure 2. Sonic... Sonic... Actually, I like to compare this to all the Pokemon games. I go like... Pokemon Black 2 and White 2 are some of my favorite Pokemon games to play. But then Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire is almost like one of my most favorite Pokemon games of all time. While Pokemon Sun and Moon is one of my highest rated Pokemon games, but it's not my favorite to play because it's so goddamn slow for the first 2 hours. It's kind of like how I'd like to rate the Elder Scrolls series. It's Skyrim's my favorite to play, but is it actually my favorite game? I don't know. It's just the most fun to play. I don't know what my favorite game is, but it is the most fun to play. If you're just trying to make sure you grasp the concept by my favorite to play versus my favorite one that I consider the best. Keep in mind, that's just my opinion. That doesn't have to be your opinion. I'm not trying to tell you that that's a fact. But in my opinion, I just think that Skyrim is a bit more fun to play just because it's newer and it just looks better and it's just more fun. Its quest lines, though, are this is the thing where Skyrim failed, is the quest lines are kind of boring compared to Oblivion. At least with Oblivion, they were all pretty fun. It's just that the way you went about quest lines in Oblivion and the ways, I like the perk tree edition in Skyrim better than just choosing your class, It's just kind of stuff like that. That's what I'm saying. Skyrim introduced new things that made it more fun to play, but that doesn't mean that it was the best game. What I also want to talk about with stuff like that is, well, we have the... I wanted this to talk about Elder Scrolls 6 in terms of where should it be set. And in my opinion, I think Elder Scrolls 6 should be set in Valenwood. I know. But it sounds like an odd choice, because a lot of people say the Somerset Isles or Hammerfell. I think the Somerset Isles should be saved for maybe Elder Scrolls 7, if there ever is to be one in my lifetime, because it feels like I'll never get an Elder Scrolls 6 in my lifetime, man. But anyway, if there ever is to be an Elder Scrolls 7 in my lifetime, I would want it to be set in the Somerset Isles. And that's if I'm even able to play video games when that happens. Like, who knows, the world might already be destroyed or something. Some crazy apocalyptic event might happen to America and the world or something. Who knows? I mean, seriously, before Elder Scrolls 6 get here, the world might be destroyed already. But I think that a Valenwood setting is actually a bit more... I say Valenwood, Blackmarsh, or elsewhere are a bit more interesting. Why? Because the Somerset Isles, I feel like it's just kind of expected. It's too expected. Like, honestly, when you played Oblivion, did you expect to be in Skyrim in the next game? I kind of didn't, actually. I was not knowing where we'd be in the next Elder Scrolls game. I mean, I guess I was a kid back then, like a little kid, but still, you know, like, you would expect... I did not expect to go into Skyrim, but we did, and when it happened, man, I was so interested. Also, the fact that dragons came back, and I kind of thought dragons would be a thing in the next game, considering how the way Oblivion ended, and, like, there was kind of multiple references to dragons in the game, so I kind of thought that dragons might be a little bit more than just cameo appearances or people talking about seeing dragons, or at least, you know, storybooks and shit. But anyway, the way I see it is they have so much potential with this game, you know, with Elder Scrolls 6. They have so much potential that I feel like they might not live up to sometimes. Because you got to think about it this way. Will dragons be in Elder Scrolls 6? No. And not if it's set in Valenwood. I just don't think there'd be dragons in Valenwood. It just make no sense. I mean, you can't really say that makes no sense, but it doesn't need to happen, you know. Dragons don't need to be a thing. What would be the storyline for something in Valenwood? See, that's the problem. You could have maybe, like, a lot of people want to talk about the Great War with, like, you know, fuck it, the Aldmeri Dominion and the Empire. But you see, that would, honestly, because... I don't know. Obviously, the Thalmor want to end humanity and shit. They ain't just trying to win a war. They're trying to end humanity. So that you could have them be the main antagonist of a game, but I think the Thalmor are honestly here to stay in more than just one game. But I would like to see how they are running the country of Valenwood, because it'd be kind of interesting, since they're not running anything in Skyrim. Like, the Dominion is not as powerful as they say they are in Skyrim, you know. They like to tout and say how they're they're those big badasses. But, you know, something that's kind of funny, if the Thalmor were so powerful, why haven't they just destroyed the Empire already? That's right, because they can't. They still need to rebuild after the Great War. Maybe if they were to keep fighting, maybe, yeah, the Thalmor have a chance at winning, but so does the Empire. Keep in mind, the Empire has a lot of forces surrounding Cyrodiil. And the reason that the Thalmor want the Civil War in Skyrim to be prolonged is because they want the Empire to be forced to draw troops from the borders of Cyrodiil that are guarding basically the Empire and shit to Skyrim, which would weaken the defenses, and then the Thalmor could strike. But if they were so strong, they could just strike right now, and it really wouldn't make a difference. That's because the Dominion is not as powerful as they say they are. I really don't like I hate the Aldmeri Dominion. They're just dicks in Skyrim. I'm not saying like the Aldmeri Dominion was like how they were in Elder Scrolls Online, then I wouldn't really care for them that much. They would be okay to me as a separate faction. But is that how they were in the main series? Elder Scrolls Online can be considered the main series, part of the main series. But how they are with like fucking in Skyrim, they're just dicks. Well, it's because they're being run by the Thalmor, who are just dicks in general. But I hate the Aldmeri Dominion. Like, I kill every single Thalmor Justiciar I see in Skyrim. And I kind of like it when, like, Galmor, Stonefist, if you pick the Storm... Now, Stormcloak Victory, I choose Imperials, but I've obviously done the Stormcloak Victory before, too. And I was like, you know... I like how he says, we're gonna take the fight to the damn Thalmor and the Somerset Isles. So he says this. First, we'll drive out the damn Empire. Second, we'll kill all the Thalmor that think they can take over Skyrim. And after doing that, we'll go to the Somerset Isles and kill the Thalmor and their bloody Justiciars. It's like, damn, man, this guy's ambitious, man. He's got some plans. He's gonna kill all the bloody Justiciars. But no, anyway, I just think that a potential storyline in Valen could be like something what we've seen in Oblivion, where maybe a Daedra intervenes, and I would kind of like that. Kind of like how the Skyrim's was, where it wasn't really tied around the Civil War. Now, I don't think that the Great War and Civil War should be something that's just casted in the background. I think that is something that we should be able to play in, and something that should play an actual role. See, the Civil War in Skyrim was kind of treated like this. See, the problem with Skyrim was this. Alduin was one of these things that only really the player character could deal with. The NPCs and the war, never really was really affected by Alduin until up until the very damn end. Once you had to face him, once you had to get to Skaldolfin, it's the only time the war ever seemed to really play a part in the main storyline. Like, I mean, think about it. In the main storyline, did the war ever really play a part besides that part with Skaldolfin? And you had to convince all the Jarls and everybody to stop fighting so you can get there safely. Other than that, the war never really played a main part in the storyline. It was just kind of a secondary option that was just kind of there. And you could see how it was affecting the country, but it wasn't really like played up to what you'd think it would be. You'd think with dragons attacking, a civil war, the Aldmeri Dominion trying to strike the Empire at any minute, this would be a horrible situation, and only the Dragonborn. Only the Dragonborn can heal it all. No, really, you just kind of do random things, and you stop the dragons, and the Civil War just is kind of non-canon, because there's two different endings. They kind of shot themselves in the foot with that one, and it's gonna be weird how they explain Skyrim, but I think the main questline is how that one's gonna play out. Because in the main questline, as I said, you get everybody to stop fighting, creating this temporary truce, which kind of splits the continent in half, pretty much, like making one side completely Stormcloak territory, and then one side completely Imperial territory. So I believe that could be what is the canon choice, is that the continent is kind of cut in half, and there's a cease to the fighting. However, though, once you beat Alduin, it's kind of resumed. So, assuming that, obviously, it's canon that you beat Alduin, something must have happened. But I think that might be the canon choice, is that the Dragonborn somehow ceased all the fighting. But that doesn't mean the fighting won't pick up again. But that's just my way of interpreting that. It's kind of like how the Dark Brotherhood questline with the Emperor's death, that could play a factor in Elder Scrolls 6. But however, I mean, I think the Emperor would be dead anyways by the time Elder Scrolls 6 is, like, if Elder Scrolls 6 is like how the other Elder Scrolls games, where they always take place at least 50 years after the previous game or something, well, then I think the Emperor will probably already be dead anyways, since he's already like 60, 70 years old, so he'll probably be dead anyways by the time Elder Scrolls 6 starts. But if it's centered around the whole Great War thing, then I'm not so sure. He might be still alive. But we'll have to figure out whether the Dark Brotherhood questline is canon or not. That would be the big issue, because you do kill the Emperor, which that's a pretty big thing to do, and again, that's brushed off like anybody could have just walked up there and did that. But who knows? It's going to be an interesting game. I want Elder Scrolls 6 to be the best that it can be, and I think Valen would just be the best setting. That or Elsewhere or Black Marsh, something that people aren't predicting like every 5 seconds in every video. Just because I feel like there's so much potential that could be done there. You don't even have to have the Great War be a thing to make the game great. I want to see something build up to that, though. I still want to see the game have inclusions of it. Or I want to see how the Great War actually affected the other provinces, too, not just Skyrim. Because think about that. We've only seen how it affects Skyrim, but we have not seen how the Great War affected Valenwood. Obviously, it must have had done something to the country, because they're in this sort of cleansing province. Cleansing the province state, whatever that truly means. I mean, I kind of don't like the sound of that they're cleansing the province. That kind of gives off this weird vibe that they're doing something. But anyway, I'm Terrence, and I am out.